Alright guys, what's up? I thought I'd take a look today at a little moment in hip-hop history that's almost been forgotten. There's like virtually nothing about it online, at least that I could find. And it's a pretty big, it's not quite Cool Mo D versus Busy Bee, because that really just changed hip-hop battling altogether, but still a pretty big moment. Kind of a classic rap battle. Dougie Fresh versus Masterdon. This is the tape I got. This is just, I mean, you can see it's just a hand-dubbed thing. It's not like a released album or anything. I actually just got it from answering an ad in an old issue of The Source. I mean, it was new at the time. Old school hip-hop jams and battle tapes. That was it. This is, I don't know if it actually came from this issue because the ad ran in multiple issues. But this is over 20 years ago, and like I ordered one tape first just by itself because he had a whole catalog. I remember he had a huge list of like 100 plus, more than 100 tapes of LL Cool J's birthday, Cool and D versus Busy Bee, Cold Crush versus Fantastic Five, like everything, battle, concerts and all that. Basically, you contacted him and he mailed you a catalog, which was not like a big fancy catalog. It was just like a couple pages of like Xerox paper because again, this is the 90s, this is pre-internet and all that. And he had all these tapes and obviously I was like, I want all of these. But no idea if this guy was legit at all. So I remember I ordered just one tape just to see if a tape would actually come back when I mailed him a check, and it did, and he was legit. And it wasn't the Dougie Fresh one. After that, I ordered like 3 tapes at a time, and then another 3. So I got a bunch of live tapes that way. This is one of them, and it's just like some random PO box from the Bronx. But he actually did get pretty legitimate later on. There's actually an album called Rap Legends Volume 1. I assume there's no volume 2 and 3 because probably some legal issues with paying all the artists and not paying them, as I assume what happened. It was just, again, classic live performances like, Big Daddy Kane and Biz Markie and Lottie Dottie with extra lyrics that are on the record and stuff like that. But they're all just like short snippets because one album, so it's like 5 minutes of each clip. And these are the whole long performances. He'd fill up a whole tape. But I just thought I'd focus on one, not so much a tape, just a moment in time, the history. Dougie Fresh versus Masterdon. What's interesting about this tape is this, I ordered it was just Dougie Fresh versus Masterdon, but it's really the whole night of performance, and that battle really just kind of comes at the end. But so I'm not going to jump ahead to the battle because actually a lot of the other stuff is quite interesting. It starts off, in fact, the whole first side of the tape basically is Dougie Fresh performing with the Tranquilizing Three. And they got the DJ Barry B. I don't think Chill Will was there that night at all. They don't mention him. He doesn't seem to be there at all. So it's Dougie Fresh, Barry B, and the Tranquilizing Three. Certainly a lesser known group, but they actually, what their, I guess, claim to fame really is that they did a rap record dedicated to Jesse Jackson's run for presidency, and they did it before Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel's kind of classic run called Jesse. So that's probably what they're mostly known for, but actually hearing these guys and Dougie Fresh, they kill it. Even Dougie Fresh, you definitely think of him as being more like, a party guy and a hype man and getting the audience hyped and, not necessarily a great big, lyrical rhymer kind of guy, but he's actually kind of killing it on this performance. Him and the Tranquilizing Three are going back and forth, lots of fast raps, high energy. They're really killing it as rappers.
Let's rock, don't stop, keep on. To the break of dawn, it's on. To the break of dawn. It's like a flash. My mellow state away rock from the bottom, sock it from the bottom. So everybody wants you, I'm hard. So from the bottom to the T.O.P. Like that's all, that's all, that's all. That's like that, and you don't stop. Like that, and you don't stop. I be the jack of all trades, I'm telling you. I can play an MC with a can of wave. He's like a roach, my rhyme, he approach. And he better take lessons from the MC coach. I'm the outspoken, never cross smoke. Never hop the train, cause I keep me a talking. Fuck up a nigga who keep on provoking. The issue, get shower and tissue. Why do you know was a sky for the tissue? You ain't nothing but a freak of the weed besides. Scott tissue got 1,000 sheets. I get real critical when it comes to my pride. I have to consult to the disrespect side. A nigga like you better run it hard because many have tried and all have cried. And those that got on me and say they want to play live, I attack real narrow. Sometimes rhymes to the music my DJ provide. Every cut that's made is certified. So you can wash your ass in a box and try. Say what? You know what? I let the crowd decide. You rock this P-A-R-T-Y. And what they say won't be denied. And with the wave of my hand will be the guy to prove all my tips so long you buy. Crash and slash, any MC trash. Think he's capable of my panache. So reaching the stash, ideas will clash. And I'll find him up like coffee hash. Moving so slow, catch so fast. So as a turtle, it can't be passed. Now at last, I'm caught on cash and so fresh. It's going to rock some ass. My DJ's the awards winning. For that talk about backspinning. I am the human beatbox defender. Any other beatbox is just a contender. When he hear me, he will remember who originated, created, and made it. So he can duplicate it, he played it, and played it. But I'm superior, he's inferior. Every time he hear my name, he is inferior. Just fresh echo in his mind, but the sound I make is one of a kind, like that. And as a matter of fact, it's like this. With just a flick of the wrist, you couldn't get a better gift. Everyone's Christmas like that, y'all. And you won't quit. I never lit all right on smoke or spit. Sit right back while I pop my shit. Whole fit, because I'm the ultimate shot king. I think I'm fired. Get over my Q, just been hired. I'm showing and proving. When he's been moving, my hands off moving, my booty when it's moving.
And you do hear some moments, like some classic lines and stuff from Dougie Fresh records, like classic Dougie Fresh records, because this battle is like 1983, I think. So before all his records and stuff. So you do definitely hear some stuff that you've heard before, but also plenty of original stuff that you've never heard in a record. Some stuff you're actually kind of surprised he didn't put into a record. And one kind of classic rap, he actually does it twice at 2 points during the night. Once sort of with the Tranquilizing Three, and then at the end, a cappella, where you can really understand why it never quite made a record, because it's really on PC, but it's also kind of fresh and fun. It's a good rap. Even for the 80s, it was a little edgy, and I'm sure Dougie Fresh would never perform it now if he were ripped it out of his rhyme book, but I'm going to play you a sample of it right now.
I'm gonna tell you all the drama about this guy, and then after that, I'm gonna pass it off, alright? Let's also, we about to bust shit on the back side. Now listen, now, me and my man, and the winner go, we had money, a car, $104, we didn't want to go in no hip-hop show. We decided to go to a tough disco. Was a race 98 for further law, so we drove downtown, the Studio 54. Was a big tall faggot with some yellow hair. Said, fuck that shit, I ain't going in there. Listen to me, partying with bitches and fags, my man just tried to get me mad. But I played the night, I played big shot. I ran into a girl that was real high. She looked me in my eyes with a tight conversation. Then she called me by my meat, so yo, place of mine. I could be for a car, I didn't get far, cause I was stealing the cookie from the cookie jar. I go open the car later on, the back seat. I open up my pants and I saw some meat. Jumped up quick, said big shit out of that. You try to play me out and get real straight. The girl who I thought you half a figure turned out to be a real live nigga. I'm about to cut a through my mind and my wild. I was real paranoid and it hurt inside. Stepping in my mind as a person who's this, and I felt for a minute, quit if I gave him a kiss. He made his ass so hard, my foot got stuck. Got arrested for disorderly conduct. To get down the fucking charges to put me away, I was telling all the cops that the vagabond came. A cop came in to talk for you, and I looked at the cop and he was day two. The other faggot said, Dougie, I'll put you away if you don't make a deal. So I said, okay, the deal is this, and I'm sorry I asked. If you get me out of jail, I gotta fuck him up the ass. So he got me out. He did it for us, but that's when my shit was about to start. Then he took me to his house and he opened the door. Was a big water man in the middle of the door. He was getting ready. He took it real steady. Getting ready. He took it real steady. He opened up the pants. He said, at last. And after that shit, the nigga got me mad. I used to want a bed to try to fight it off. And I said, my brother, no more block party at Studio 54. My friend, as this message I sent to all those men that tried to say, Aaron, turn it off. Don't want to ask me, but undercover, it's using Vaseline. Like that, y'all. Like that, y'all. It's all got it, that, y'all. Tantalize in 3, 1, 2, 3. Get on the mic and start to MC.
And the sound quality, by the way, is obviously not amazing. Like, I'm sure this is recorded, just into like a handheld cassette tape or something back in the days live when they're performing it. And then, of course, this is a generation dub of a generation dub of a generation dub. There's bits where the sound kind of really drops out and where there's cuts and stuff. Again, I don't think that's necessarily I got a bad tape. I think that's just the only live recording that exists is like that. But so it does kind of jump around. But anyway, so you got that whole performance with the Tranquilizing Three. Then there's a little bit of solo Dougie Fresh stuff. Then the Force MDs come on, back then when they were the Force MCs, and they do a great routine, lots of their classic harmonizing. Stevie D especially really just kind of raps and kills it going solo. And interesting because he curses a lot and stuff, which is just sort of not what you think of when you think of the Force MDs and the Force MCs and their classic stuff. It's kind of cool to hear the sort of the more raw, realer, edgier kind of stuff that they did live. Dougie Fresh too a little bit. He comes off a little, curses a bit more and stuff like that. And it's not like, oh boy, cursing, giggle, giggle, but just kind of cool to kind of see the more real side to them than the more forced, we're professional entertainers that they would later do on their albums. So I'll play a clip of this Force MCs, not the Force MDs yet.
On can come along in order. We're shocking us together in a cool order. Come on, stop the shot and not the shot. He's the number one shot. Now, people, listening carefully, you can all let the tip up and listen when the drop on fire. He's at the trip, children, always at the magic of 22 grip. Using it so tight with all my life. Instinct, take a chance if you want to fight. Off this, cause you can never miss. So it's me, the weapons I talent trip. I'm a skinny MC at the top of the tree. Everybody in the place, you got to know me. You not gotta get a love today. They like the show. If you're not that page, nah, it's alright. You look so good, even do showing out in the neighborhood. Gonna rap because you got it like that. I'm a skinny MC, never talk no crap. Everybody, come on, we gotta have some fun. Right here, y'all, and let's see what. My man, you wanna see us turn it out? Man, get your hands from out your mouth. You don't know what your hands could have been. Let me tell you, you come to start tomorrow. I don't know why. People think I can sing, but listen up, nigga, because it ain't no thing. Now, look, everybody, to realize, you see the D's the one, the best harmonized. Hey, the man with style, and a lot of finesse. Stevie D for sure, you can call me S. I'm fresh out the back, big leather hat. Just a man today because I got it like that. With the lead on the side like Jackie and Hot. We're cool, daddy, yes, we qualify. We're cool, everybody, you can feel the bass. Everybody looking me right in my face. People in the front, people in the back. Got people with speeds and big hard hats. So up there to triple, let the funk voice is tired. Get on the message at the job, you're high down. I gotta look at that motherfucking see that motherfucking mic go home.
Then it's back to Dougie Fresh and Barry B. Of course, with Dougie Fresh, there is some great live beatboxing in there. In fact, at one point, there's a little mini battle, not really a battle because it's very friendly. They're in the same crew and all, but Dougie Fresh kind of battles Barry B, where he's doing all the turntable sounds and stuff that Barry B would do in the turntables, with his mouth, obviously, as a human beatbox, like years and years and years before, like, Rozelle did that with the Roots and all that. And in fact, I think even Dougie Fresh, I don't want to, like, that Rozelle record is great, so I don't want to trash on that. But really, hearing this kind of really blows you away. So really kind of classic moment. I'll play a clip of that, too.
And we gonna get into this shit like that, all the time from the summertime. Nigga think he good. Nigga think he good. So we gonna kick it. Alright, we gonna kick it. So Barry, you can't fuck with me. And this is the real shit here, okay? This is the real shit. This shit ain't made up or nothing. Barry always think he good. And he think he can fuck with me. But tonight is the night. Okay? So Barry, are you ready? If you ready, give me a run, that's all. Okay, he's ready. Okay, first of all, my action you can't fuck with, okay? Here we go. Okay, alright. Baby. My man been practicing, okay? He's been cutting every day. But he can't fuck with this, so pop, what's it? Well, I think you shouldn't battle right about this time. I think, nah, fuck that. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Bust this. You ready, Barry B? My man Barry B is bad. And look, if you don't give yourself an applause, give my man Barry B an applause, please. Okay.
So then is the moment, of course, everybody's been waiting for. Dougie Fresh brings out Masterdon. They said they had beef. They're talking about the YMCA and everything, and so now Masterdon's going to come out and they're going to battle. And really the beef is mostly between Barry B and Masterdon. Masterdon is an MC and a DJ, and he's basically saying, what the whole beef is about is that Barry B stole his cuts, and so he wants to battle him and show that he's the best DJ. And so it's really sort of a DJ battle, although afterwards, Dougie Fresh and Masterdon do go at each other lyrically on the mics too, as well as a couple of the other members of the Masterdon committee. Again, now this is 1983, so don't expect like crazy flares and crab scratches and invisible scratch pickle kind of stuff. This is more very rudimentary, classic, old school DJing, but sounds pretty dope. And then, of course, we're going to hear some disses from Dougie Fresh and Masterdon because I think that's what everybody really wants to hear the most.
Here we go. Now I know what y'all came to see, and what y'all came to see is what's going to happen. Because Dougie Fresh never backed down on his word. You know what I'm saying? And I want y'all to know who I am and what I represent. Now on the wheels of steel, no other but the Cup of Festival B. And I like to say that the last time I was at the YMCA, I heard a lot of people popping shit. Not a lot of people, but distinctly, I'm going to point out my man Masterdon. Okay? Now, I heard a whole lot of shit, you know, about the best DJ and all of that. And it's been going on since the summertime. People been putting them up against Barry. So to avoid all the problems, we're going to go at it now. And we're going to get all that squared away. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get it all squared away. Now, my man Barry B is going to do something, and then you go ahead and do something. And when you fuck up, that's when you lost. Alright? Do we agree? Do we agree? Could I get a yeah on that or something? Alright. Okay, that's all I want to know. Okay, so Barry B, here we go. Speed is what you need to succeed. You know, I want them to see this brother cut. Now, you know what you do. 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 Now, you see, I ain't gonna even say nothing. I ain't gonna even say nothing right now. I'm gonna just let y'all listen to the record and rock. I'm gonna let y'all listen to the record and rock and check out the speed of my man Barry B. Because there is nobody that can fuck with him. Nobody. And if you see it yourself, you know why. Barry B, do what I love. Do what I love. You know what I'm saying? So we bugging out and we gonna blow the smoke. It ain't nobody I know that can mess with my man Barry B. You know what I'm saying? Now, here we go. Bring it down. We're gonna do it like this. Get the shoot. The shoot for one. Okay. See, I'm running my mouth because I'm trying to get things squared away, and I don't like nobody basing. I heard a nigga that bass. Cause y'all back up behind the rope. Alright. I heard a nigga that bass. You know what I'm saying? The only bass we get is from these speakers. That's all. That's all the bass we want. So, move over a little. Hi, Barry. This is my man Barry B last cut, and he's gonna do a little something like this. That's it. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. Blow one finger. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know.
I guess I should real quick, just in case not everybody watching this even realizes who Masterdon is. He was pretty big in the early 80s. He was mostly signed to Profile, although he's been on a couple different record labels. But that's where I say he had his biggest hits. He was also part of the Profile All-Stars, that record with Pumpkin and Disco 4 and all those guys. So he and the committee had a whole bunch of kind of hit records like Funk Box, and then Masterdon had a solo record, and some of the members, even Pebbly Poo, who I already did a video about, that female MC who did a response to Fly Girls, she was a member of Masterdon's committee, so she had her own record. So that's who they were, and they're definitely kind of big in the early to mid 80s, definitely known for being sort of, you know, a live group that performed a lot in NYC. In fact, they're probably better known as just a live group than they were on record. I don't think they really quite transitioned the way like Dougie Fresh did, signing to major labels and going on with a longer career. Yeah, so that's who they are. And one of the reasons why I'm interested in this battle as opposed to lots of other battles that have come later is that this shows you more how like a real kind of classic traditional hip-hop battle went. It's not just like a whole bunch of yo mama jokes that kind of rhyme with each other, or even sometimes don't rhyme with each other in some battles they kind of do lately. It's not that kind of real snap style battling. It's really performance. It's really music. You know, like when you hear even the Kool Moe Dee versus Busy Bee battle, when you hear the other acts who were in that battle, because it's actually like the Cold Crush was there, the Force MCs were there. I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent, but they did performances. They did, you know, they were harmonizing, they were singing. You know, it wasn't just like yo mama sucks, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, this is kind of more of that.
No, the shit was nice. I want y'all to know the shit was nice, but the shit was mine. That's my motherfucking cut. He biting my shit. I made that up. I made up every cut he did. Let me say mine. Let me say mine. I'm gonna do my, I'm gonna do it. I want you to know. I want you to know, like I said at the Y, most of these DJs out here are good. Barry's good, but you can't be good biting from somebody else. I bite from nobody. I bite from nobody. Because I'm great. And I'm gonna show you I'm great. From the top. That wasn't a fuck up of the cut. Yo, chill out. Yo, listen up, y'all. Listen up. That was not a fuck up of the cut. The headphones fell off. That's not a fuck up of the cut. That is not a fuck up of the cut. The headphones fell off. Bullshit, that shit wasn't. I'm dressed like this because this is Dougie dress. Dougie Bum. That's what I call him. You know? Dougie Bum. You ready, Masterdon? If y'all want to see the story, let me hear you say yeah! Say hell yeah! Okay, I'm gonna show you it. You don't stop. You won't, you don't stop that boxing rock. This part of people is what you like story. How we got to reach that fame and glory. You wanna know why? He makes no sound with such grace. The shit like this was always in his face. Mirrors cracked at the side of his mug, and the face looks like it wants to be hugged. Pretender, he ate a lot of place. Now you can see right away, he don't have no taste. And what is this we have in here? Corduroy Dougie, let's have a beer. Don't you know you wear corduroys in 90 degrees? May, June, July, August, to New Year's Eve, and shoes so far. Don't let me get on that. It's a shoes and even tall, we don't worry of that. And the six shot time, like when he was free. That's a shitty ass bastard and the ugly turkey. That's just saw, and you don't stop. You won't see, don't stop that boxing rock. Stolen like shit, from coast to coast. Dougie Fresh, you need the soap. The one that floats, you need ivory. You need ivory. So don't shut this race up lively. I do the beat jaw, and you don't stop. And you won't, you don't stop that boxing rock. Dougie Fresh needs to wash his ass. Casey and Johnny D, they got a little bit to say. But we was you know, we was unprepared for this shit. Take the shit to Dougie because he need it. Come on, Johnny D. Yeah, that's right. Me and Doug Fresh was definitely homeboys until today. We was definitely homeboys until today. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't see me, but I'm gonna just run down this rhyme anyway. Where you at, Doug? Where Doug at? You're over there, right? You're not right. I just want you to know that we was alright, but you did this shit and you're not right. You're not right. Yeah, alright, well. Dougie Fresh, you really did it this time. Trying to prove to everybody that you know how to rhyme. Dougie Fresh, your breath smell like garbage stink, and your breath smell like your mother's sink. And she looks like a motherfucking liquor. Alright. Fuck it. I gonna go through it, Doug. I gonna go through it, Doug. Fuck it.
And so then that's kind of it for the battle, and the night wraps up with the Masterdon committee performing some stuff, and it's just one big show for the crowd and for posterity because it's been preserved, and here we are. Not even 20 years later. I got the tape 20 years later. This would be like 35 years later or something crazy that we're now hearing this event. So now I'm going to play a clip of the Masterdon committee's performance, and then I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out. If you ever start to wonder, one thing you gotta know, that there's something my artistry. You get on by, make the thing anyone else, makes your heart sing. It's just something my artistry. He's got to stop that, and you can't stop. He's a real thing. Why you pop that DJ shit behind his back? Behind his back,